So I'm not a licensed psychologist or psychiatrist. Don't know why you think I would be at 19. And this also is just all my opinions about the TV show. So please watch the whole video before you try to attack my thoughts on it, I guess. But either way, let's get on to the video.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Zhariya Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. So if you guys like that, you're happy to just love my gorgeous face, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post, which happens to be on Mondays and on Fridays. How are you guys doing today? Personally, I'm doing great. I just hit 500 subscribers, which I'm really happy about. So October's goal is 600. So if you guys don't want to subscribe, go ahead and do that. But either way, I learned that in my last video, when I talk about things that I don't like, a lot of people get upset by it. So I would be talking about a TV show that I genuinely thought that I was going to like. Like when I sat down to watch it, I truly thought this was going to be an amazing show that I was going to fall in love with, like all of Ryan Murphy's other TV shows, but there was just something that wasn't right. Ratched is an American psychological thriller TV show that's on Netflix. It's based about the character from the same name from Kevin Kesey's novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, an iconic book. You should definitely read it if you haven't already. And it was created by Evan Romansky and developed by Ryan Murphy. So it stars Sarah Paulson and Finn Wittrock in their, weird relationship that they happen to have in the show. There's going to be spoilers in this, so if you care about spoiler alert warnings, this is your warning. But this show is about Mildred Ratched, who is a nurse, allegedly, who decides to work at a mental health hospital in 1947. You see the life of that hospital, you see the characters, all that, whatever. Point is, the show had potential. The things that I liked about the show mostly was just the casting. Ryan Murphy honestly casts shows really well. I'd love to be in a Ryan Murphy TV show, so Ryan Murphy for seeing this. I don't hate you. I think that the show had a great potential. I think that it just was approached the wrong way. But also, yeah, whatever. Point is, the casting was absolutely amazing. Some standout people that you might not know were John Briones, who played Dr. Hanover. I think he did absolutely amazing with his acting. So did Judy Davis, who played Nurse Bucket. Sharon Stone, she played Lenore Osgood. Did I say it? Lenore? We only hear her name like once, I think, in the show, but she is, even though you barely see her in it, she has I think about her, And then obviously, I think the person who gave the best performance with the time that they were given was definitely Sophie Okonedo. I don't know how to pronounce her name, and I feel really bad, but she played Charlotte, which is honestly the topic of today's video and why I don't like this show. And what ruined it for me. But before I get into that, I'm going to give you guys some background information about why I don't like this and why this was portrayed wrong. So, Charlotte, her character, has DID, or as they call it then, multiple personalities disorder, which was appropriate for the time, so I'm not saying anything wrong with that. But DID, or dissociative identity disorder, is usually a reaction, it's a reaction to trauma that some people will have as a way to help that person avoid bad memories. And it is characterized by the presence of 2 or more distinct personality identities. Each may have a unique name, personal history, and characteristics. They could have different health concerns, different voices, etc. But the point is, there are 2 distinctly different people that are inside the same person, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And this disorder, where dissociation comes in, is that it's accompanied by a lot of memory gaps. It's how a person, could be diagnosed. They have a lot of memory gaps beyond what would be explained by forgetting something. So, for instance, you could forget what you had for dinner yesterday, but for an example in the show, Charlotte, she was sitting, somewhere, and then after came into realization of Charlotte being the head of the system. She's on a train to New York City and doesn't know how she got there, why she got there, etc. So that's kind of the difference, I guess. And there's a lot of stigma surrounding DID as well. And I will get into that. But first, let's talk about Charlotte Wells. So, Charlotte Wells, they give her origin story, which is very, very graphic and very sad. So, I'm going to give you guys a very gloss over. Because if you guys, obviously this is spoiler alert, but like if you want to watch the show, I don't want to like ruin it for you like completely. But essentially, if you need to know, she was kidnapped and she was left in a closet for 9 days. And in those 9 days, she was starved, mistreated. So, a lot of horrible things happened. And in those 9 days, she then developed DID, which first I'm going to say is the first issue, because I've seen that it's very hard for adults to develop DID. From what I've read, I'll obviously try to add some stuff in, but I'm pretty sure that it's hard for adults to develop DID. I feel like it's something that like children end up developing. But aside from that, the first personality is Baby Taffy. Baby Taffy is a very young child who is like trying to help her sick mother. Taffy is small, innocent, vulnerable, and she always needs someone to protect her, essentially. And because she can't do it for herself. And she's supposed to represent how Charlotte felt being, vulnerable and scared when she was in the closet. If that makes sense. Not like in the gay closet, but like in the physical closet they locked her in. Next, we have Apollo, who is the person who, bested the Adolf Hitler. He's obsessed with Hitler. At the Olympics by winning 5 medals, as you guys know. Apollo represents the immense anger that Charlotte has towards the situation that she was in. And it's like her suppressed rage that she has, because as Apollo reserves immense anger for Hitler, she reserves immense anger towards the people who attacked her, which Apollo is one of the ones I'm going to get into later. But the other personality is Ondine Duquette. She is a self-proclaimed world-renowned musician. She's played for not King Henry, but she says that she's played for multiple people. She's very bold. She's very rude. She doesn't take crap from no one. And she has, obviously, Ondine, I don't know if that's like a real person, or if that's just a point is that she reflects boldness that she wished that she would have had, strength that she wished she could have been able to display while she was, getting attacked. And her other personality that is introduced towards the ending is Dr. Hanover, and I'll get into that. But let's talk about the stigma surrounding DID and why, because I just told you who Charlotte was, her personalities. You might be thinking, well, Zharia, what's wrong with it? And I'm going to get into that, but I'm just going to tell you guys some stigma that's surrounding DID so you guys can get some context as to why I do not like this show anymore. So I'm going to give you guys an example. Okay, so about 6 months ago, as you guys know, Trisha Paytas came out is probably isn't the word, but told the world that she had dissociative identity disorder and said that she felt inspired or a realization that after she watched Anthony Padilla's video that he had made on March 4th, which was pre-quarantine. Oh, imagine. But she got inspired from that, and that was a whole situation that also added a whole lot of stigma surrounding DID in the first place. There are many YouTube channels that talk about DID if you want to research more. I'm just saying, as a person, I don't have DID, but I can understand when something is clearly not right. So some stigmas of DID is that they say people with DID that are specifically struck in this. One big thing is people say people with DID are more violent, which is not true. Movies such as Split, Split had another person who had DID, which also displayed an extremely dangerous, like how far can the human, mind go, which made a genuine disorder that actual everyday people experience as a spectacle, which I don't really vibe with, but it's not the actor's fault. It is the writers and directors who produced the show, because actors need to eat. Period. But either way, let's get into the Charlotte situation. So Charlotte, in the beginning of the show, she was introduced as a timid woman who had some separate personalities, but wasn't really violent, wasn't really doing anything, extreme. She was trying to be treated by Dr. Hanover through hypnosis, which is actually working pretty well for her generally, which I'm not going to talk about that. But towards, this is a big spoiler for like the, I guess, ending, but Dr. Hanover kind of gets, exposed for like not being a real doctor, or maybe he was a real doctor, but not, just being a crook. I don't remember. But he was running away because Mildred let him run away. And Hanover, he takes Charlotte to a hotel that they're going to go, and he says, we're going to go to Canada. I'm going to get you treated at a facility there, like blah, 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 blah. And then the police knock on the door very loudly. Hanover freaks out and then tells Charlotte to go into the closet. As if he did not understand. And I understand, he was scared, he was shocked, he didn't know what to do, so he put her in the closet because that's what any person would think, like, oh, hide them in the closet. But for someone who is this patient, he should know that probably wasn't the best idea. So upon putting Charlotte in the closet, he goes to the door, see the police, just say, like, oh, are you double parked outside? He was like, nah. They said, okay, have a good day. And then they left, So he realized, oh, it's not at all a big issue. So Hanover opens the door, and there is Apollo, or is it Undine first? Regardless, Undine and Apollo are her two more bold and angry alters, because as you guys know, baby Taffy is very harmless. Charlotte is also very harmless. But her two more aggressive alters attack Dr. Hanover and murder him in cold blood. A few hours later, Charlotte wakes out of her disassociation and sees blood all over herself and sees Dr. Hanover is dead. And during this traumatic experience, she calls Nurse Ratched. That's a whole situation. But during this disassociation, during this traumatic event, she obviously then assumes the identity of Dr. Hanover. That's now another one of her alters, is being Dr. Hanover. Which is a way to like erase her guilt for murdering him, I guess, is what like they say. That's what it is. But let's talk about this. So Ratched is a good TV show. Obviously, Ryan Murphy TV shows are filmed gorgeously. The casting is always on point. But sometimes the content is just a little iffy. Like, you remember Scream Queens? Scream Queens was a moment, but like, And like, I really hope that this show like moves on and tries to fix this whole Charlotte situation, because it gets even worse. Basically, towards the ending last episode, Charlotte and Edmund, who is a whole other character, Fenrir Rock, is gorgeous, but they go on a murderous rampage and they kill 7 nuns. Not nuns, 7 nurses. Towards the ending of the film, ending of the TV show. Oh my goodness. And I just don't feel good about that. Like, I didn't watch that and I wasn't like, oh, that's so interesting and that's so crazy. I was just like, oh my god, like, you're making this person with DID violent. And that gives, like, I couldn't imagine like having DID and watching that show and then seeing that being portrayed as you after you just saw Split and after you just saw the Trisha Paytas thing that happened 6 months ago. I wouldn't even know how to feel. So if you have DID, I'm trying to look out for you. I promise. I think mental health is so important, and mental health is stigmatized, glorified on TikTok, so many social media platforms, and to have it also be in film and TV makes it even worse, and then that bleeds into social media, which then makes the cycle continue multiple times over. So, do I like Ratched? No. But do I appreciate what the show is going for? Yes. Let me know what your guys' opinion was on Ratched, how you felt about it, how you felt about mental health being portrayed. There's obviously some more stuff about that show, but I think that the part that pressed me the most and like what I thought about after I finished watching it was about Charlotte more than anything else, which isn't good, I guess. I don't know. Point is, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps small channels like mine. Make sure to subscribe because, as I said, I really want to get 600 subscribers because that'd be so cool. I just hit 500, which is so great, and I'm so thankful for everyone who subscribed thus far and who watched my videos and liked it, and I'm just so happy. So yeah, make sure that you have a great day. Make sure to stay healthy and stay happy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.